So I got the Cutlass all ripped apart right now. I was having these problems with my shifter where every time I would go from second to third gear, it would hang up and get stuck. And I'd have to crawl under the car on the side of the road and manually pull the shifter out of second gear back into neutral. So in order to get the shifter out last night, I had to take the seats out, throw them there, roll the carpet back just to get the plate off the floor. The shift plate, you can see where it was outlined. I had like 20 self-tapper screws holding it down. The problem was that bolt hole right there, I wasn't able to get the bolt out from underneath the car, and I couldn't get to the bolt from inside the car because the plate was in the way. So what we did was, here's the plate. We actually cut this side of the plate out, the left side. You see where it's all chewed up. So in the future, if the shifter's ever got to come out again, I can get it out without tearing the whole car apart. I made a video about this before with the shifter issues, and it is a Hurst shifter, brand name, and we should call it a Churst shifter because apparently they make them in China now. And the problem I'm having is that the shifter housing itself is just microscopically wider than the ones they used to make back in America. And these shifters all use shims between the gates. Well, the problem is now that the body is wider, they're still using the same shims they would have used in the older bodies. And we added 2 shims to the shifter before, and it improved it tremendously, but apparently it's not perfect. So I have another shim we're gonna put in here shortly. Between that shifter issue and the car getting horrible gas mileage, I completely stopped driving the car since I got back from No Name Nationals. I kind of just parked it in the garage, forgot it existed, because I had a remedy. That Skylark I've got, which is almost the same car, I've been driving that every day for like the past 3 weeks. So since we got back from No Name Nationals, I pretty much stopped driving that car right there because, one, the shifter issue. It's every time I drive the car, there's at least one time I'm gonna have to pull over on the side of the road, shut the car off because it's stuck in second, crawl under it, burn my left or my right arm here, trying to get in between the headers and the thing to just pull it out of second. So, you know, that's one reason I stopped driving the car. And the other thing is the gas mileage is just atrocious in this thing. I haven't calculated it, but I feel it's probably getting around 7 miles a gallon. The Skylark I have calculated, that's getting like 13.5 miles a gallon. I can drive that all week to work and back and home and everywhere I want to go, and it usually bangs me for about $60 a week going everywhere. Well, this thing, I took it to a car cruise we had not that far from the house, and this car beamed me over the head for $70 in one day. I almost filled the tank. I didn't quite fill, but I think I put $40 in it, $50, I can't remember, but it equated to $70. I drove there, came back, and the car was about to run out of gas on the highway, so I had to pull over, put $20 more in it just to get home. And I literally went nowhere. $70 vanished like that. And this car could be getting better gas mileage than what it is, because if you look at Chris's 71 Chevelle, he's got a 454 in that thing. He's probably getting at least 12, 13 miles a gallon. I've concluded the issue is, it's just the cam choice I have in this engine. I think it's got a little bit too much duration. You cannot get to 4th gear until you hit like 45 miles an hour. And you have to pedal the clutch if you're driving through, like, say, a gas station parking lot. You can't even have the clutch out, or else the car's just bucking and carrying on. It does pull really good though, from like 3,000 RPMs and up. And I only shift out at like 5,000 RPMs in this thing. And that cam is probably good to like, I don't know, 6,500. So I'm thinking over the winter time, I may just break down and change the cam in this thing to something just a little bit more street friendly. And it'll be a lot more enjoyable to drive. And rather than being stuck in 3rd gear at 40 miles an hour with the tach sitting up at like 2,500, I could finally get to 4th gear and, you know, lower it down to say 1,500. The car might actually be enjoyable. But this right here, all this right here is part of the 50% process of getting this car on the road. The shifter's 50% of this reason I stopped driving it, and the gas mileage is just... You ever see, like, in Looney Tunes, that somebody gets hit over the head and they start seeing stars going around their head? That's what it's like putting gas in this thing, just to go nowhere with it. And then how I said about the Skylark, I've been whipping this bad boy around for almost a month every day. I mean, I straight up put the Mustang in storage to take this thing out and enjoy it. It's been like sunny like this for the past 3 weeks. We haven't had any rain. Now they're having forest fires and stuff around here, which I'm cool with that as long as it doesn't burn down my neighborhood. So yeah, this thing, $60 a week it takes to run this car everywhere. I'm gassing it. I'm putting like 14, 15 gallons in it every week, and you know, I'm happy that way. I'm not putting 15, 16 gallons in it every day. So I basically traded in the Cutlass for another black on black A-body. That's the game I'm playing. Unfortunately, the weather's gonna change eventually, and when it does snow and they finally put salt down on the street, this thing's gonna go back into the unit for the rest of the season. I'll winterize it. Yeah, but until then, I'm gonna keep on rocking this thing around. And last but not least, there's the red trash Camaro, which I haven't made any updates on this car in, I don't know, 5 years. I mean, really, I haven't talked about it in over a year because it's just been sitting here on Riley's property. I need to make time to do something with this car, and plans for it are currently up in the air. If you guys remember way back, originally I was going to put my Olds 350 in this car right here that came out of my Cutlass. Well, since then, I traded my Olds 350 for a 455. And I'm toying around with the idea of putting that 455 in this car. One thing's for sure, I've decided I'm going to go with a T10 4-speed, regardless of what goes in this thing. And I would like to put an LS in it at some point, and somebody already set the car up for an LS. They cut the K-member out and notched it and re-welded it, which needs to be done. They cut the firewall for a truck intake manifold. And what else? What else have they done to set this car up for an LS already?
Fucked up the wiring?
Well, yeah, they did chew up the wiring pretty good. So the car needs homemade wiring for whatever goes into it. So, like I was saying, I traded the 350 for this giant 455 over here on the stand. And since I don't have a 350 to put in the Camaro, and I really want to put an Olds motor in there, I have this. It's already set up to put a stick shift in the back. Look at that. It's asking for it. I have an Oldsmobile flywheel for this thing. It's at Chris's house. Check. I'd only have to buy a clutch, bell housing, and whatever other 4-speed parts. And the 4-speed parts would be universal between this, and if I wanted to go LS with it afterwards, just pull the Olds motor out, put the LS in, change the bell housing, and be done. Put it all back together. Eventually, that's what I want to do, is that LS, because it'll allow me to do what I want to do with the car. And that's just foot to the floor, smacking rev limiter, sliding around corners.
Watch King of the Mountain.
Yeah, you want to know what I want to do with the red trash Camaro, look up King of the Mountain final race. Look that up on YouTube. And I don't think I can do that with a big block Olds without starving it for oil, going through corners, and basically grenading a good engine. So basically, that's it for the red trash Camaro. It is still red, it is still definitely trash, and plans are up in the air. Like I said, all I do know is it's going to get a T5 4-speed, and whether we put the Olds motor in it or an LS in it, it'll still have that T5. And I really want to put that Olds motor in there just to see how stupid it is. Riley's like, ooh, it's gonna be extra work. But I have a feeling when you turn the key and it's actually like tuned and you go to blast that thing down the street, you're gonna have a smile from ear to ear. All day. Oh, hey, where's the steering wheel?
I don't know.
I just seen it the other day. I think it's over here. Look, I'm telling you, this dog will fetch anything. See this? Here's an old crusty go-kart steering wheel. Notice the bike marks. Pippi, look. Go get the steering wheel. Come on. Drop it. But the only problem is once she brings it back, she won't let you pick it up. Wait, back up. Back up. See? She almost had it midair. Riley's Electra is just sitting here abandoned for the past, what, 2 years?
Ow.
It feels like 2 years.
It's been sitting here like 9 months because I had to fix the wiring in the engine bay, if you look at my one video. And then I got that fixed, and then I found that the wire going from the bulkhead connector up to the ignition switch is bad, so I gotta replace that. But other than that, it's...
Look, this has been sitting here so long, it's got no paint on it anymore. Look at that.
Why that's happened, Marty?
Because it just sits here outside in the constant exposure to the elements.
You act like if it was running, it wouldn't be sitting here.
It'd be maintained a little bit more. Look at this jungle of wiring that caught on fire and exploded.
No, I cut that out now.
So
now I have this in here, but the wire that goes to the ignition switch is bad, and so the previous owner had jumbled it onto the alternator wiring so it could feed power to the ignition switch.
that's disgusting. So anyway, that's the update on the Electra. That's now an abandoned vehicle. I wonder if I can get one of those abandoned vehicles stickers they put on windows of cars if they sell those online. I'm gonna grab one and stick it on the window. You're gonna come out one day and think a township came on your property. And then there's Riley 72 Skylark. If you watch his channel, you know what he's doing with this. He updates this pretty often. But he got his 427 stuffed in there with the 4-speed. Apparently the whole nose clip got blown off the car because radiator support was really rusty, so he fixed that. He got patch panels welded in for it.
In the process of putting the clutch Z-bar in. If you go on my channel, you see the clutch pedal problems I've been having. Got a Jeep Cherokee, Grand Cherokee steering box. And I've been taking my time at it, just making everything look neat. You know, making the oil line and all this stuff nice instead of just blowing it on there and making it look like crap. Doing stuff like this, putting a 90 on there so the hose doesn't have to wrap around the alternator. I got the patch panels back here on the
Radiator support. Uh oh, close your ears, folks.
I got the new patch panels on the radiator support, and Harry's gonna come over and weld them in.
Yeah, it was all rotted out because the battery tray ate that side, and this side was just rotted a little bit.
But they actually make it surprisingly easy to put this patch panel on. You give you little bolt holes here to line everything up.
Yeah, that bolt's in there to line everything up. So that's what's up with this car. Cutlass, shifter, possible cam swap this winter. Skylark is just another daily like a normal car. I know it's weird to say that somebody would drive a 55-year-old car as a daily. And Camaro's out back on the other side of that wall, possibly getting that engine. I know it'd be double the work, but I really want to put that Olds motor in the Camaro just to see how stupid it is and how it rockets down the street. The only drawback would be I got to weld the lower motor mounts in, and when I want time to go to put the LS in, we'd have to cut the mounts back out, and that's not the end of the world. You get this dog here that will not stop playing fetch. Seriously, you could do this for hours. The dog will have a heart attack before it decides to stop bringing you back the ball. So anyway, that's what's going on over here. Lots of work on lots of different cars. And I also acquired my second Japanese car. Then I acquired this bad boy right here, 1988 Nissan Pulsar. Ooh. What's the deal with this? This is my buddy Kyle's car. He rebuilt most of the motor a long time ago, and he's just been putting it around, and it decided to jump timing and bend valves on a brand new head he just had done. So I guess the tensioner went bad for the belt.
Yeah.
So luckily it's really easy to get the head off this thing and get it repaired cheaply. And I traded a 5-speed, my T5 I bought for 400 bucks. I traded to Kyle so he could put in his 82 Camaro for this whole entire car. This thing's mint. It's the last Nissan Pulsar left in existence that doesn't have any rust on it. Even the interior is brand new. No cracks in the dash pad. Now, oh, it's even got T-tops. Now don't get it twisted. I'm not gonna drive this thing around. I'm probably just gonna fix it or sell it and then somebody else can fix it. But that's just sitting here for now. 72 Monte Carlo that was acquired back in May. 71 Ford pickup still sitting there because somebody needs to do a fuel filter on it that's leaking.
Yeah, here. I got the fuel filter too, so.
That's gonna be for sale if anybody's interested.
Just think you drive, whatever. My fuel filter here, that it cracked on the bottom because the fitting's going in sideways, so I gotta bend this line and replace that. But other than that, it's a driver.
It's a driver. 302, 3 on a tree.
Remember that's been sitting for a year and a half.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the casualty cars. Yeah, we got dike wagons that are broken down, more dike wagons. Then you got my Mustang over here. I painted it midnight blue with the leftover paint from Austin's van last week. No, I'm just playing. That's Riley's 95 Mustang, but that'd be pretty funny, huh? Well, that's a new look. In fact, that's the first time the Skylark's ever been inside this house. Now that I got that broken Cutlass out of here. I left it at my buddy Zach's garage. If you're wondering, that pole barn we were in earlier, that's my buddy's house. So I got the Cutlass on his lift, under his roof. I got this in my garage, under my roof. I got the Mustang in my storage unit, under that roof. And it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so it's all working out. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the Skylark versus the Cutlass. The Cutlass is what? It's a 455 with a 4-speed, bucket seats, floor shifter. It's like the alter ego to this car. This car it's a small block, 2-barrel, bench seat, automatic on the column. This car just cruises, man. It is just, you float it down the road, and you're like, this is nice. The ride's nice and cushy. If you've never seen the Skylark on my channel before, it's 98% stock. The only things that have been done to the car is it's got a tricked out transmission, it's got an HEI distributor, and it's got a posi that's been put in it. That's the only things that's been modified in this car in its entire life. Yeah, the engine's been rebuilt back in like 1997. Everything's up to date and maintained. It's just, it drives and it feels like a stock car. I like it a lot. I forgot to mention, the Skylark's also got a dual exhaust that's been put on it. I don't really count that as much of a modification, only because almost every car we've ever had has dual exhaust. I'm just used to it. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear feedback. Who, down in the comments, let it be known, who actually wants to see me put that 455 in the Camaro? Because I'm kind of on the fence about it. I really want to do it. I just want to know if other people want to see it done. I haven't had a chance to really touch the car yet, but it's in the back of my mind, and it came to the front of my mind over the past few days. Hey, I have this minty corpse of a 3rd gen and almost all the parts to put it together. Maybe I ought to do something with that car. Winter's coming up. It's time to put projects together. I'll see you guys later.